2. Hello, assalamu alaikum everybody. We're back again. MATHIS-NA podcast series. I think this is episode number 14. Might even be 15, but we're getting along. Everything is going really well. There's one of us that's missing today, but that's okay. We've got some really important things that we want to talk about today. But beyond all of that, guys, I think the podcast that we're doing so far is going well. We're getting loads of mixed kind of feedback, which is good as well. We don't want the same feedback to come back all the time. I think that's okay. I'm actually going to break a rule. I'm going to look at my phone because I think Bukhari is just messaging us saying that, sorry guys, I have to skip tonight. Books is out of order, man.
Books is out of order.
Books is out of order. He's not going to come today, but I've got Prince here with me. Yogi's here with me as well. It's been a bit of a discussion since the past couple of weeks between ourselves about what's been going on within the country. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of, I wouldn't say scaremongering, but there is a lot of people who are fearful about some of the actions that are being taken. Some of the things that are happening in different parts of the country. There's something that happened quite close to us last week as well, which then kind of got taken out of context, I would say, by certain people. And then other things are happening because of that as well. I don't know how Prince feels about it, but we can definitely have a discussion. Yeah. But earlier on today, myself, a couple of my colleagues, we were having this conversation about, this whole topic keeps coming back up again about what it means to be British. Mm. We tried to flip it on our heads a little bit, and we said, forget asking Asian people or people from our community that question, what does it mean to be British? Forget asking that question now, guys. I think if we were to kind of put ourselves into the shoes of, let's say, for example, your everyday Englishman.
Yeah, indigenous white person.
Yeah, indigenous white person, however you want to describe them. If you were to ask them, what does it mean to be British? Mm-hmm. What do we think their response would be?
The common terminology that's coming around is about British values.
Yeah.
And I don't know, nobody can really define what these values are.
Okay, so let me give you an example then. Going back about 6 or 7 years ago, I was one of the artists that was picked by the government to go on trial the whole British values agenda.
Okay.
So we were told, and this was all in a school setting again. So we were told to go into a primary school. We were told to go into a high school and then also a special educational needs setting. Everybody kind of knows what the British values agenda is. If Yogi wants to pull it up on Google, you'll probably find it. And we were kind of going in, but my objective was to kind of look at how we can deliver the British values by using arts to do it. Mm-hmm. So whether that's theatre, whether that's music, creative writing, all of that kind of stuff. Certain things like multiculturalism, diversity, the rule of law, these kind of things, they say they're quintessentially part of, Britain.
Yeah, and Britishness.
Yeah? When we went back to the government, we said, are you saying that these values that you're saying and you're calling British values, are they only exclusive to Britain, or do these kind of things not exist anywhere else? Mm. Our feedback was that, look, we've gone to deliver it. Young people are willing to kind of take it on, have a conversation, discussion about it, understand it, accept it as well. But then to say these are only British values, we don't think that's fair. They should be actually called human values. Anyway, the following academic year, government goes back in, schools open up again, and what do they call it? British values. Okay. So, there are discussions that have happened there. But if we were to say to some people, English people, I think, look, I'm going to probably be a bit of a stick in the mud right now. I think some English people are fearful of speaking their mind. Mm-hmm. I think they do get scared and think, people are going to label me racist, or I'm discriminating.
But I think I'm seeing they are starting to now. Because when one voice speaks, another follows, it empowers them.
They get confidence, right? Yeah. Another reason why they might be getting more and more confident is the rise of political organizations like Reform, where they're coming out and really saying what they need to say. I think I read something in the newspaper today where they were saying that companies that hire immigrants will be taxed more than companies that don't.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, so there's so many different things that are coming. I think immigration. If we ever thought over the past 10 years it was a hot topic, I think it's never been hotter than what it's been right now.
Yeah.
We were some of the youth workers that went into certain areas to go and talk about immigration, the benefits of it, the wonderfulness of it, how it's benefited UK. But again, myself, my colleagues, even Yogi was part of this discussion as well, where I think it's okay. I don't know how Yogi feels about this and coming out with it, but I'm more than happy to come out with it as well, to say that sometimes I think certain sections of our community have done too much.
Yep.
We've asked for a hell of a lot.
Yeah.
And one thing that I think is part and parcel of calling yourself British is this acceptance or willingness to hear you and then see if I can accommodate.
Yeah.
And then whatever it requires for me to accommodate you so that our society can be civil, harmonious, I think the British society has done that.
Yeah. And it's been as
What do you think,
accommodating as it
Naz?
can be.
What do you think that up to that? What
I
Salik
think
said?
they have been as accommodating as they can, because there's some things that just don't translate in this country. Like some things that culturally that we'll be familiar with and used to, like the azan going off 5 times a day at 4 o'clock in the morning. I don't think British people would appreciate being woken up at that time. If it
But
was,
have they allowed it to happen?
no, well,
In
I
certain
don't-
places they
certain
have.
places, yeah. Like I remember Blackburn there was a loudspeaker even 10, 15 years ago. There was a loudspeaker as well.
Let's flip it then. If they said no, would there have been anything wrong in that?
No, we can't disagree. It's the land of the law of the land.
No, but I'm not asking that. Forget the law of the land. If a group of people who are the majority, which is white people, yeah,
Yep.
if they turn around and in the most polite way they said no, would there be anything wrong in that?
No, because
Would we then appeal it in from a negative way?
we probably will, because the likelihood is we're quite resistant in terms of, obviously we're Muslims first before anything else, which is fine.
Okay.
But at the same time, if they decide that it's not for them and it's disruptive or whatever reasoning they've got, as long as it's a reasonable reasoning,
Yeah.
we should go with what they say. Like people work nights or whatever, and it's disruptive.
So, do you know when you're saying about they're respecting our religious rights, yeah, religious values,
Yeah.
you know, all these festivals that take place, these cultural festivals,
Well, again, if it's not harming them, or if it's not, because it's not like,
no, I'm saying if they politely just said, no, we don't want that.
no, I don't think.
This is not the backdrop of.
There should be some compromise. We should be allowed
Why?
to practice, because at the end of the day, dunya is very, it's a temporary thing for us, isn't it?
No, hold on. We're going off track
No,
right
no,
now.
what I'm saying is-
I'm asking you if they very politely
Yeah.
said across the country, if you want to hold a cultural festival, then do it in a very British kind of way. Do a British festival. What this whole idea of us going and setting up these melas, these cultural festivals, Boishaki Mela, or if they very politely said no, what would be wrong in that?
Well, if they say no for the right reasons, I can understand. But if they,
For example,
so if they say, let's say, I don't know, you're gonna have a festival, but we want some of it appointed to white people, it's licensed, they can drink and stuff like that. We might be opposed to that because we don't want that mixing with our culture, because we don't drink. That's categorically against our religion. So it depends
no,
on
you're
the
going
context.
back down religious. Keep religion out of it for a second. I'm talking about culturally.
Yeah.
Culturally, if somebody wanted to come and say they're going to have a drink, because they do. Some people just sit in the park and have a drink.
Yeah.
Does that mean you don't go to
No,
that park?
that's fine. If that's accepted within the boundaries of the park, that's fine. You just got to get on with it. That's not something that we can dictate. We can't just enforce.
Because if we really
undermine
wanted to
their
get
values.
ridiculous about this, we could do. For example, from tomorrow, I'm not going to go to Asda anymore
Yeah, because they
because they sell alcohol.
Yeah, and some people might be inclined that way. That's their choice. But at the end of the day, why are we in this country then? If you're going to be inclined that way and have that trail of thought.
Because I'm not saying, look, we drop our cultural. I'm actually very far away from that. I'm not one who says I drop my cultural values, but anything that I do culturally, for example, I don't think, because it's the way you explain it, right? I don't think anything that I do culturally affects a British way of life. Yeah. If we look at it in the mainstream, like politics or mainstream news and stuff like that, there is some conflation that's going on, isn't there, between your culture your religion, this idea of Britishness,
Yeah.
the people that are coming over, the people that are born here, the people that have been here for so long. Where even in our community now, and I was saying this earlier as well, we've got a new category of people that are coming along. There's one that says, yeah, I'm Muslim before I'm Bengali.
Yeah.
There's another one that says, no, I'm Bengali before I'm, anything else or Britishness or whatever. Then you've got this other group of people, which is kind of fast growing.
Yeah.
Is like, no, I'm white. I'm English.
I'm English. I don't know anything about Bangladesh.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the language. I don't know the culture. I don't eat the food. I don't dress like them. I don't behave like them.
Would you say there's conflict between having this Britishness notion and being Bangladeshi or being?
I think there is a lot of confusion coming through now. Let me just break it down a little bit more. I think we at home are not really explaining what it means to be a Bangladeshi or Sylheti or Bengali, whatever you want to call it. At the same time, in the masjids, I don't think they're explaining how Islamic values and British common law values are very much similar.
Yeah.
Then the mix of those two in what I would call wider community is not being explained how all of that can be harmonious.
You know, you mentioned that in the masjids and things like that, the education piece. So do you feel as though they treat Britishness and British law as a separate entity to Islam?
I think so. I think we kind of touched on a little bit of a topic earlier. I was there, Yogi was there as well.
Yeah.
And I made a remark. Yeah. And the remark was, sometimes I think even our religious values are being shoved down our throat.
Yeah.
I'm starting to kind of think about that more as well. This whole idea of I'm Muslim before I'm Bengali. What's wrong with vice versa, the other way around? Is anything within my culture causing a detriment towards my religious beliefs? Conflict.
Yeah.
What I eat, what I wear, the way that I behave in my community, because I brought an argument forward. Is a Bangladeshi person also not a Hindu? They are, right?
Yeah, excellent thing to mention. Yeah.
They live in civil society. They behave appropriately. They dress appropriately. They more or less eat the same food. Yeah, when you bring in religious values, there's a lot of things that are different. Their belief, fundamental belief, yeah. But I'm not allowing that difference to cause a problem between me and my neighbor who is also Bangladeshi.
Yeah. Can I ask you something? Because this is really topical. I was reading something earlier. So in Bangladesh, there's been an incident where somebody was dragged out and set on fire by a mob. Okay, so basically his name was Dipu Chandra Das. Okay, so he's a Hindu.
Yeah,
and apparently he was accused of blasphemy against Islam.
Okay,
so as a direct kind of reaction to that, he's been dragged out of his house, sort of burnt to death.
Yeah, that's wrong.
Yeah, we can't we have to categorically.
Because last year the same thing happened to another Muslim man.
Right.
He was also, and people, you're going to be shocked about this. He wasn't dragged out of his house and burnt. He was dragged out of his grave and burnt.
No way.
Yes. But because this person said that I'm a prophet, he said all of those things, which we know is totally wrong.
Yeah.
But even in a country like Bangladesh, there is law there. People have to live according to the law. He will be judged. I'm sure he would be found guilty because there's religious laws within the country that people have to uphold as well.
Yeah.
But the person had already died. When he was alive, nobody tried him. Yeah. Nobody went and put a case against him. Nobody, people might have caused a bit of a hoo-ha, this, that, the other and all that. But the guy's died. They buried him. And then a mob, I would call them an extreme mob. Yeah. Went and took him out of his grave to the main road and then burnt the dead body there as well.
Okay.
Anyway, going back to this country, I don't think anywhere in British society would something like that happen.
No.
Even for the people, that might have done heinous, crimes, pedophilia, whatever.
Yeah.
You don't get dragged onto the street because even we agree, with this whole grooming act. Do we agree with them? Do we? Heck.
Of course not. No.
They need punishing.
Yeah.
They need going into prison for life or whatever it is.
Of course.
Yeah. I don't think when it comes to stuff like that, if we're talking about caring for young people, we're all on the same page. If we're talking about protecting women, we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
The way the media describes it and sensationalizes it and all of that, I'm going to go back to the question again. what is it within my culture that I'm practicing that goes against this British way of life?
I genuinely can't see why it is causing such a conflict. You can live your life Islamically as you want and culturally as you want and be yourself.
And Britain allows it, right?
Yeah, Britain allows it. Britain
So when
actually,
so you know this?
encourage it.
Yeah, okay, they encourage it. Yeah. So when Yoga, this is a question for Yoga.
Yeah, go on.
When and why has it got to a point where these people now? I'm talking about English people. They're saying enough is enough.
Yeah.
Where is that coming from? We've had enough. We're putting our foot down. We are not going to allow this to happen anymore. What is it that they're not going to? What is it that they've had enough of? What is it that I'm now fearful for my daughter and my wife and my family, to the point where even we're saying, guys, are we not having this conversation amongst ourselves where it's like,
Yeah.
now they're going to come for us.
Ultimately, I think we've got to ask the white person that, or the white, public that as well, to understand exactly what it is. But then obviously they do mention it at times. They're just sick of.
What is it they're sick of?
A lot of it comes from criminal acts what Asians might do, or
do you think
people.
It's not disproportionate to white people.
No,
hold that thought. Yeah, criminal.
Because you asked me what was the question. So why
have they got to the point where they're saying this?
Yeah. So look, what I think, my opinion is what I've seen, because I do watch GBN and all of this, just so that I can understand where they're coming from. So
yes,
a lot of it,
and it's good to see watch that as well. I'm going to pull up Nigel Farage's page here, yeah?
100%, yeah, go for it.
Let me pull up Nigel Farage's page because everyone's labeling him as something that's the instigator, the Enoch Powell of 2000 and, this modern.
One of the things that they say, and I hear quite often, is if you put a dog in a stable, it won't be a horse.
Yeah, so, this is what they say. So a lot of the culture is different. Like, obviously, you can't say Bengali culture or...
But what they're doing now is they're dehumanizing us as a culture. They're not even... Because it's crazy. They're not even comparing us
to hold that, yeah?
Human beings.
What do we understand by anti-white discrimination? What do we understand by it? Because it's becoming a fast-growing term within that particular section of the community.
What they mean is that Asians and minorities are being positively discriminated, i.e. they're being fast-tracked to positions and they're getting all the jobs and they're claiming some of them saying they're claiming all the benefits and taking all our jobs. I don't know how you can
I'd say simply it's just racism against white people, isn't it? That's what
simply, right?
Yeah, simply.
All white people feeling undermined. All white people, because they clearly are, the working class definitely are.
I'd say there's a case to be made for it. Sometimes maybe, they are. It is right as well. Look, why would based on skin color, you can't just choose a brown person to tick a box. And I think that's it's been happening a lot.
But then the statistics prove it completely against it, because whatever work environment there is, ethnic minorities are massively disproportionately represented. There's always a need, there's always a drive to try and get ethnic minorities, like what Muddy said. He said, look, they're deliberately driving. Why are they driving ethnic minorities in the first place? Because the percentages don't match the percentage of ethnic minorities.
I don't think that's a real reason, Prince. I'll be honest with you. I think the reason why they're driving more Asian people to go there, because at one time, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, this idea of racism against black people, against colored people, against Asian people was abhorrent. It was everywhere. NF was there, skinheads were there, the National Front, BNP, they were going around beating people, so they had to react to that. Because don't forget,
so what do you think is overcompensating?
Yeah, these are the people that Britain invited into the country, don't forget.
Of course, yeah.
100%. Because we needed to rebuild our country, rebuild the economy, we need a workforce, all of that. These people were invited into this country, but when they were invited into this country, did Britain know that there's going to be a section of the community who is going to oppose it right from day one? Those are the same, the NF, the BNP, the all of that, yeah? They opposed this migration policy, for those people to come in and do the jobs and all of that. Later on, look, let's go back into our history as well. When our fathers first came to this country, when our uncles, our grandfathers first came to this country, there was no idea of them staying here forever.
No. That wasn't on the cards, was it?
That wasn't on the cards. And now that, when they opened it up and said, no, bring your family, we didn't just bring our family, we brought the whole friggin' village, man.
We did exactly that. Yeah.
There's so many people now in this country came here as a student, came here on a work permit or whatever you want to call it. None of them, majority, I would say, when I say none, I'm talking about 99.9% of them came on false grounds.
In what sense? False grounds?
They weren't really students.
Okay.
They weren't really coming here for studying and then I'm going to get my qualification and go back.
Yeah,
they were looking for other ways so that they can just remain here.
I remember in Borden, there was a guy in year 9. He came from Bangladesh. I swear to God, he was about 30 years old. And he was in year 9. And I was thinking, God, there's something completely wrong. Because you can tell.
Yogi, you mentioned before that one of the reasons why they might be saying enough is because of criminal acts here. What about
what I feel like.
Yeah, you're right. I agree with that. But I think that's only part of it.
That's part of many other things.
Many other things.
Yeah.
You know, when they say, oh, we can't get houses. What they're saying, like another policy that Reform brought out, if you look at the polls within their group, the majority of them accept it, give British houses to British people.
Look, can I want to say something as well. You know, you said we mentioned this, we spoke about this before. And one of the things that we mentioned at the end, towards the end of the chat, was one word that was character. And I think I said it, I don't know, I was speaking to my friends the other day. Sometimes I feel like, even just as an example, when we get into the car, I feel like we lose our culture, our Islam, our character, everything. For example, the way we drive, the way we park.
Yeah.
Come on, people are going to be fed up. And obviously, they
and
see
you know the
that.
people who are fed up, who are they being fed up for? They're being fed up for everybody. They're saying, if this person parking like this is causing me a problem, I'm also saying that this is a problem for my community. We can't drive down. Emergency services can't get through. This is not the way this civil society should be operating.
I'm going to give a specific example, and you'll all know what I'm talking about. Shah Jalal Masjid. I'm going to say it. I'm sorry, but I'm going to say it. Right in front is a care home or like a elderly home, residential homes. And look at the way we park. There's literally no space for ambulances or a large
100%.
Fire engines to go past.
I'm going to add to that example, Yoga. You know, on Friday, I was rushing home, obviously Jummah time coming, rushing home, got to Belfast Street, just about to turn left onto Belfast Street. There's a car coming straight down. I'm thinking, oh man, I got to reverse into another road, let this car come past. When the car got close to me, the person who drove lives literally 10 houses away from me.
Yeah.
And my house is only 20 houses away from the masjid.
You can practically
Okay, check this out. Let's
from your
flip
house.
the argument even further. When was the last time the Imam Sahib in our local masjid, and I'm going to call it out like this as well, whoever's listening is listening, propagated to the community, next Friday, nobody come to masjid in your car unless you live at least half a mile to 1 mile away. Walk to the masjid. Save the environment. Keep the roads clear.
Even
when
more
was the
than
last
that,
time he said, guys, why are you not walking to the masjid? Majority of you guys live literally few steps away from. Why are you bringing your car here and clogging the road up?
To be fair, they did say that at Queensgate, but only as a reaction because we all got busted by the ticket man. So the Imam actually made a...
Listen, forget being reactionary. I'm talking
this is
about the
proactive.
Imam Sahib
Yeah.
being pro-action,
Yeah.
proactive. Tell people to get on the feet. Tell them to walk around. Look, as part of our work, we're trying to develop, this is another side point as well. We're trying to develop a part of Stony Mandane's house where there's a lot of allotments, green space and all of that.
Yeah.
You know who's been the people that have been vandalizing that spot?
Go on.
So on.
All wrong?
People that live in the area.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Nobody would dare, with knowing Stony Mandane's house's reputation, nobody from outside of Stony Mandane's house would even dare to walk in to come and cause vandalism, disruption and all of that.
What do you think is the grassroots reasons why?
It's because we don't have any pride for ourselves and our area. We don't. We really don't. If you walk through Stonium at some points, and this is for the people that are listening, why are we putting beds that we need to throw away, just leave it there on our back
Salik,
seat?
I'm gonna
Why
put
are we throwing bins on
I'm
the
gonna
street?
put this
Why are we
picture. I'm gonna put this picture. Obviously, when I've edited it.
Yeah.
But I've took a picture today right in front of cables. You know what cables is, Salik?
Why are you doing
there's
that?
There's a table. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
There's a table.
Look,
there's a suitcase.
my point is, you either go and hire a van. Look, do the civil thing, do the British thing. And the British thing is either get someone's car or someone's van or hire one yourself, put it into the back and take it to the local skips.
Yeah.
Go and dispose of it properly in a place where you know that everything else within. Look, why?
I'm gonna pause you there, Salik. It's not just even a British thing. Tika British
we're talking about the context of us being in Britain.
That's true. It's not that you're wrong, but okay. Does Islam say even remove a harmful object from the road? Harmful, it could be anything. So
do you not get a good deed for that?
100%.
Yeah. Now someone might turn around, some wise ass, I'm gonna have to say it like that, might comment, oh, why don't you guys go around and do they're all litter pickers in the area.
It's a full-time job, bro.
They're all litter pickers in the area. They go out every Sunday. They do it as a group. They advertise it. They're asking for volunteers to come forward. And then what do they get faced with? Somebody else throwing some more litter on the street.
Yeah, or they'll pick it up anyway. So yeah.
So when people are turning around and saying, I've had enough, then let's look at it on a very, very micro level. In my own area that I live in, there's a lot of things that I've also fucking had enough of.
Yeah,
Sorry, excuse my language.
No, it's true. It is true. Even
who would want to wake up, come on their doorstep and see someone's dog have a poo on your doorstep? You wouldn't like it, right?
No.
Then to the point where sometimes we even have a pop where we see dog walkers and the dog's relieved itself, and the person with a carrier bag would pick that up and then go and dispose of it in the bin. He's got some sense of pride and cleanliness, and this whole idea of, if my dog is going to foul, it's my responsibility.
100%.
But we're fouling all the time.
Yeah.
When people turn
That's
around,
kind of ironic. You mentioned you've said that. Sometimes we joke about those people. Oh, look at them. They don't, clean their own selves, but they're cleaning the dog's foulness. Yeah. But then if you look at it, actually, like you said, they've got pride in that area or whatever it is. Where's our, look, if we're so good.
But also beyond that, Yoga, talking about law, it's a crime, isn't it?
Yeah, of course.
You can get done for it. So that person's taking responsibility for picking up after their pet.
But here's the thing, Salik, yeah? So I've made an observation, and I'm not making a generalization, but this is a lived experience, yeah? So in my mother's street in the backyard, and there's a little road, one laner, whatever, you know how it is, standard terrace houses, one laner behind it. People that have come from abroad, they've just moved in, and there's been furniture there that they don't like or whatever, and they've just lobbed it outside, left it.
Yeah.
As if some magic fairy is going to come and tidy it up as they go along. I don't think there's an education piece for people that come, as in, what are our expectations? We've been established in Britain.
Okay, check this out then. It's good you brought that up. Yoga, hear this out, yeah? You know how Britain says to foreigners, if you want to come into this country, you have to learn English to a certain level. You got to maybe sometimes pass life in the U, or all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We're here in Stony Mundane's house, innit? What if there was a handbook to say, if you want to come and live in this area, you have to live according to these rules?
I think there should be. If people are so ignorant that they don't know the basic mannerisms and basic hygiene.
So, these kind of things actually exist. It's called how we live in society. It might not be specifically to Stony Mundane's house, but there is something there where it says all councils have it. Go and look into the council website. What do they expect from you living as a resident of Burnley? What are you paying council tax for? What is it that we as a council expect from our people to show pride in their town, their local area, their parks, and all of that kind of stuff? You want the council to make your town look clean, pretty, all of that. But we're not doing anything to help the bloody council. We even have the nerve to have a pop, and someone might say, I'm being a bit difficult here. We have the nerve to say, oh, they should come and clean the streets. I pay council tax. No, mate, that's not why you pay council tax.
No, you're paying for police services.
You're paying for everything else as well as that.
Yeah.
There's so much more that you're actually paying for. Knowing that the fire service is going to come out, the police is going to come out, the ambulance service is going to, the streets are going to get lit, your bins are going to get, and even after all of that, when people don't want to pay the council tax, I've heard it within our own people. Why didn't you pay a council tax? No, you don't want to pay it. Look, if you have a valid argument, you can bring it forward. But it's okay. I'm going to say this to the people who are listening to it as well. In the comment section, call your people out, guys. There's nothing wrong with it. What's wrong with it? If you're saying, I don't like the fact that people are coming over and and schools of whatever it is, you can say in your comment section, because look, we're moving close to us now asking the question, why are people reacting to our communities in this way?
Yeah.
Why is the British electorate the majority? If we're saying that reform is going to form the next government, then you're going to have to say that they're going to do it through a majority, a landslide victory, allow Nigel Farage to be the prime minister. Go onto Nigel Farage's page on Facebook now, guys, and read some of the rhetoric that they're using, read some of the policies that they're coming up with, and they're saying that they want to deliver this within their next parliament. I'm telling you, it's going to affect each and every one of us.
One thing I would say as well,
If they're going to do something against your culture, it's going to affect us. If they're going to do something against your religion, it's going to affect us. You know this lad who got stabbed and got killed? Who was he stabbed by?
a Sikh guy.
A Sikh guy, yeah? So that's the first thing that you labeled him as, a Sikh guy.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, exactly. It's
Yeah,
autonomous, isn't it?
it's a natural reaction, yeah? Why didn't you say, oh, you're just a
He's a
British
British guy.
Yeah,
Yeah, you wouldn't, would
we
you?
didn't. We clearly don't. The
But on the
media.
flip side of this, we don't even acknowledge that their victim was a dual national Polish Brit,
Exactly. So I actually asked this in my house. I said, what was the guy's name? Henry
Novak.
So soon as I heard that surname, I thought, hold on a second, you're saying British, but he's also an immigrant, right? He might have been born here, but he's what? Immigrant like us.
Like us, yeah.
He's
a derivative
just
of
like
immigration.
us. So let's say, for example, let's flip it for a second, yeah? If the person who was killed by this Sikh person, like you're saying, let's say was a Muslim, who would the fight be between at that time?
Sikh and Muslim.
Would it really?
What do you think?
I'm asking, look at the reaction of people around the country. There's been
if the victim was Muslim, I don't think it'd even make the newspaper.
It wouldn't. It would not make, because look, the far right media, the far right winger, all of that. They now this
On
all.
that, Salik, I have to say, look, if our community do anything, regardless of 10 other incidences that are identical from the indigenous white community, that one incident that our own perpetrate is going to get so much more focus than the others. That's just the way the bias of media is.
I get that. I'm saying, why are they now saying we've had enough? Enough is enough. This has happened before.
Yeah.
This is not anything new. An Asian person, whether he's Sikh, Muslim, Hindu, an Asian person has murdered white people before.
Again, I think the media has a lot of blame because they're driving it down our throats in terms of who the enemy is. It's very, very clear. Anything, in terms of the semantics that are used, whenever anything's reported, if it's a perpetrator, it's always a Muslim perpetrator.
No problem.
There's always emphasis on that.
Prince, what you're saying, I'm hearing. Yoga, it's time for us to call out one thing, yeah?
Go on.
The first question is, do you sometimes think our community has done too much as well? We've
Too much.
we wanted it.
Go on.
No, how should
Go
I
on,
say?
explain
You wanted
yourself.
our cake and
No. We were thinking about an inch, but then we went and asked for a mile.
No, yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying.
No, Salik, here, because you know in our chat before as well, going back to our chat, I know you guys not hearing it, whoever's watching, but you said as well that, because I mentioned the Britisher Khaislot, the Britisher Buddhi, what they did historically to Bengalis, Aborigines, Native Americans, all sorts, all around the world. So what you said was one of the things that you said, we allowed that as well. And I think this also, they allowed this.
Yes,
Yeah.
You know,
It's
the
one of
government,
those.
they just ran with it.
You're
Give them.
You're
give them.
100% right. Look, check this out, yeah? You're 100% right. Just like how we allowed it, they allowed it. Both of those two things was allowed on different terms. It wasn't for the same reasons. You know, when the British came over to Bangladesh, we never asked for them to come. So anything that we did to react to it was worthy. There was it was almost like an actual invasion. Don't forget, guys, the history of us coming here. We were invited here.
Yeah, it's a complete.
We were invited.
But one could say that it's the similar in the sense that they're talking about when they do talk about. I know that it's vast, but when they talk about the illegals coming over on boats,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
But
So they're not asked to come. They're actually coming on from illegal means. But then again, the ironic thing is, the British came through illegal means, or there might not be in laws about it. But
when the British came over to our lands as well, don't forget, some of us revolted against it.
Yes.
Right from the beginning.
Yeah.
It wasn't only after 200 years, 300 years that people said enough is enough.
I knew you're gonna make that point as well.
Yeah,
so,
people started from the beginning.
Yeah.
But some of us, we sold out as well.
Yeah, of course.
A lot of
Money
us sold
talks.
out.
Yeah.
When Britain allowed people to come to this country, there was, even from day dot one, you know, the people that didn't like it back then are the people that voted for Brexit this time.
Yeah.
It was that age group that was the
yeah.
highest voters, wasn't it? Young people didn't vote for Brexit.
Brexit,
Young
no.
people accepted multiculturalism. Young people, or the young voters, actually accepted the fact that I might be living in London in the morning, but I'm working in France all day and then coming home. Look, it was a normal thing. I'm going back to the question again. Why is it that people are saying now, majority of the people that we probably work with, people that we see, people that we grew up with, went to school with, why is it that they're saying enough is enough now? Where has it got to that even they're saying, guys, you've exceeded the ceiling
Because
now.
if you listen to some of the, when they talk, they obviously blame a lot of the crime committed by Asians or non-whites. They mention the government, that's another thing. And then obviously they're looking for their kind of viewpoints to be related to them, and that's the media as well.
I think, you know, this enough is enough. I think they got to that point a long time ago. This is my opinion now. Let me tell you I think they got to the point a long time ago. They couldn't come out with it as vigorously when it came to talking about housing, employment, education, positive action. They couldn't, because then I will definitely be seen as a racist.
Yeah.
But now that it's gone to the level of criminality, they thought nobody wants criminals.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use the criminal activity that's happening right now
what I mean.
and then bring everything in the sack with it as well.
Yeah.
And now they can say, oh, look at this. People are getting killed. Our women are getting attacked. We're getting bricked. Our children are being treated like this. Grooming gangs, all of that. And then with the mix of all of that, now go on to Reform's page. Go on to MNU, the right winger. They're talking about, oh, has anybody seen the housing statistics? Has anybody seen council housing statistics? Has anybody seen how the white young man is being distracted? How... do you understand what I mean? I think they got to that point a while ago. They couldn't come out with it.
Yeah. So what I liken that to, you know, like the football last, was it Euros or whatever, when the black players missed?
Yeah. Remember that. I don't forget that.
And what was the words that they used? And look, white people, you've got to ask yourself, if a black player in your team misses a goal or something, or a black offending player rough tackles a player of your own and stuff, the knee-jerk reaction, in fact, that neo-Nazi, I can't remember his name, the one that got arrested or whatever.
Yeah.
He got arrested in a football game because a black player came up to him and he called him X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And his rationale for that was, we're in a crowd, we say things like that, it just comes out, it's part and parcel. So when you're that angry or your emotions are that pent up, your true self comes out.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. It's been brewing forever and ever. And it's been brewing for decades, hasn't it? And it takes something like that. So I challenge white people. I say, look, when there's a black player or something like that, something happens negatively for somebody black, what are the words that actually come out? And that's your true self.
And those incidents, in my opinion, quickly get forgotten as well.
Yeah, they do. You're right.
Yeah, they quickly get forgotten. Nobody kind of lingers that headline for too long. Or
whereas you always remember the 7/7. You always remember the
it's been shoved down your throat.
You remember September 11th. You're never, ever allowed not to forget. You Ariana Grande. You can name all of these terrorists.
So,
these are abhorrent acts. Yeah?
Okay, going back then, 2001. The disturbances took place in Burnley. What they call disturbances, but they were riots. There was one in Bradford, there was one in Oldham, and there was one in Burnley. This was, again, they're saying it was stirred up by the British National Party, because don't forget, there was a time when the British National Party, I think they won 9 local seats here in Burnley against the 15 that existed.
Griffin and all them.
Nick Griffin and all of them. Now you'll see Muslims allow Nick Griffin to come onto their podcast, their platforms, and talk about Nick Griffin and dress him up kind of like a good man.
You won't believe it, but
white man.
I actually searched him up. Look, he's on the, because I wanted to bring his matter up, because even he's disagreed with what's his name, Tommy Robinson.
Tommy Robinson.
He's saying that actually he's not the actual the far right, he's actually Zionist led.
Yes.
The Zionist is backing
So I
him.
was just gonna say-
Whereas Nick Griffin, he didn't want anything to do with them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
he's
So basically, why they call him more racist than Tommy Robinson is because they think, oh, he believes in the Adolf Hitler ideology. So now, look, all of this kind of gets mixed up. It kind of doesn't get understood properly.
This is
I
where
know
we
if
are,
our Bukhari was here, he'd be throwing bloody spanners. He'd be throwing the whole garage in the mix right now.
We're at a
Do you
position
know what
now.
I mean?
look,
Sorry, Bukhari, but Bukhari would be throwing the whole garage in the mix. What I'm trying to say, guys, I'm going back to that question again. Why are people now saying enough is enough? Really nail it down now, because now we're beginning to realize it's not just crime, Yoga.
No, I know,
Yeah.
I know 100%.
No, I'm not
That's
saying
what-
you're wrong.
For
I'm
me,
saying
for
the people out there, you now have to realize it's not because a man got stabbed.
No.
This has been brewing for a while now.
a long time.
Look, how many
This has been
years
brewing
has
for
the,
a
has the
while.
kind of look? By the way, these terrible things. By the way, yeah, whatever happened. But how many times do you hear terrorism, all of this, and then the main point for them now is Muslims. It's the Muslims. It's not even about the Browns or the whatever. It's about the Muslims. So that's kind of.
Do you know when? What's that? Is it Henry Floyd or something?
George
George
Floyd?
George Floyd, sorry. Yeah, George Floyd in America. Didn't we all whack it up on our status as I am George Floyd?
Yeah.
I am this
I
BL.
didn't, but yeah,
no,
but
I'm,
people did.
But
people
you know
did.
what I mean?
Yeah,
The majority of the
people did.
world, there was uproar, right? How many people from the Muslim community didn't agree with the fact that someone's got murdered? Yeah, we don't agree with people getting murdered.
No.
Why didn't we also come out and claim Henry Novak to be one of our own as well?
Fair. Because
Why didn't we change all of our profile pictures and says I am also Henry Novak?
is that because we align ourselves as to be the ethnic minority? We're so used to being the perpetrators, the oppressors, that maybe naturally now we're so battered down, we can't even have the justification of being a victim anymore. Like, it just doesn't get the press. It does not get any sort of media attention. If, like, for example, the stabbing that happened in Briarfield, first questions, when it was all kind of not known information, everybody's like, what's the nationality of the person that stabbed? What's the nationality? As soon as they heard the victim was Pakistani as well, it all kind of died down. Nobody was interested anymore. If it was Pakistani stabbing and the victim who got stabbed was somebody white or British, as they want to see it, then there would have been another kickoff. There would have been all sorts of rioting going on. But because the perpetrator and the victim were of Muslim descent, Pakistani descent, it's no longer as important. So that's the stance, that it's just the way things are now. We don't feel like we can be a victim anymore because we're not.
A victim to what though?
Anything, even any crimes or anything like that.
Why?
And it doesn't resonate. It doesn't hit in terms of.
So if a Pakistani Muslim was to get murdered right now, he's not a victim.
He's a victim, but it'll make 10 minutes worth of media attention, and then that's it. He'll die down. Like you said about the black players a few years ago, had a few days worth of uproar and then finished. Whereas things like Henry Novak, you know that's going to carry on. You know in 5 years' time we'll still know synonymously that it was a Sikh person that stabbed him or whatever, and the circumstances around.
So how do we now then, Yoga, fully integrate? Because that's something that we get accused of, that we're not fully integrated. How do we then assimilate, be British, be Bangladeshi, be Muslim, all at the same time without hurting the people who actually belong here, the white people?
I don't think we can. Because the reason why.
So what you're saying is multiculturalism has failed.
Sorry, say the question again. I'll just read
So basically, how do we fully integrate, assimilate?
Okay, these are
Yeah.
some strong Kora.
Yeah.
Kora, as we say. in
Kora
Malayalam.
likar, yeah?
Yeah, Kora likar.
Kora
yeah.
likar. So basically, how do we integrate, assimilate, hold our cultural identity, hold our religious values and identity as well, and at the same time, not upset the indigenous people of this country?
For me, it's a simple.
Because look, you can't, right?
You can't. 100% you can't.
But I'm sure,
That's what you
and
think.
I'm not speaking for him, but if Bukhari was here right now, he'd say, I'm fully integrated, fully assimilated, fully English, fully white.
The reason why I say we can't is because, look, when they...
It's because we're different. We're not the
It's
same.
It's not just that. When they accept us your examples are like the guy that bans halal meat and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The Sikh guy, yeah? So he completely contradicts and he is against Islam. And the other thing is, like, black people, for example. So some black people are accepted as their own because they're in the pub, they're drinking, they're there on Friday night, Saturday night, having a good time. It's just not our culture. Some things we will not compromise on. We will not start drinking just to be accepted in a society. So because of that, I think a lot of Britishness revolves, there's a drinking culture. Everybody knows that. It's quite a common thing. And because we don't drink, there's a massive barrier there. Oh, why don't you drink? Have you never tried it? Oh, cheat. You can do it. I won't tell anybody. All that kind of stuff. No, it's not for us. When we categorically say, no, I'm not bothered about cheating and things like that, God's always watching. They think it's an alien concept. They're like, what the heck are you on about? So that alien concept massively divides us. So that means because we're not able to take shots, we're not able to drink beer while we're watching football, how can we assimilate?
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Yeah, I don't think we can, there can't be no fully integration, fully assimilation. Or what was the third one? Integration.
So assimilating, so integrating, assimilating, holding our cultural values, religious values, but at the same time, not hurt sentimental, whatever.
All right, let's take it one by one then.
Okay.
You have a quick read of that one I wrote for you as well. So assimilation. If we assimilate, obviously we kind of let ourselves down. I'm going to call you coconut, you're going to call me coconut. And so
Okay, what does assimilate mean as well then, yeah?
So like basically copy and paste in it.
So basically, assimilating actually, this is again watching other podcasts and understanding from a far right journalist perspective, yeah? When you integrate, it's like you're getting along. You've got your differences, I've got. You know, to assimilate, there has to be only one culture.
Yes.
What do you mean?
So assimilate basically means I've integrated and everything's okay, integrated, yeah? But now I'm going to assimilate yoga, meaning there's one culture that's going to override everything.
A super culture.
Yeah, a super culture. That culture might be a mix of so many different things. But to say that I've assimilated, I think Asian people or our people or us people have actually integrated into British society. I don't think we've assimilated.
I think we have because there's now like you get mayors, you get politicians, you get obviously
That's integrating.
But
that's integrating. But I think that also they don't like that as well. But go on, Naz.
I'm looking at the actual direct definition, yeah? Assimilate means to fully absorb, understand, or integrate something so it becomes a natural part of a whole.
Yeah.
We are not naturally part of the whole. We stand out.
That's what
We're not assimilated.
No,
we can't.
We can't.
I don't think we can.
It's as simple as that. We're black and white. It's black and white. It is black and white.
No, hold on.
No, it is, Sadiq.
Okay,
Let's go to the bare bones
Look,
of
you're
it.
fine saying that. Do you know when we talk about identity politics? What is identity politics? It's not about you being Asian and him being white. That's not. Identity is when you identify with a particular culture or a way of thinking or an ideology.
Yeah.
That's called identity politics. So you might be black, I might be white, but we agree with Labour because we identify with those politics. That's called,
Yeah.
Britain or Britishness should be one thing, right? What is that one thing made up of?
I don't know.
It can't
I
just
don't
be
think
white people telling us that it's everything white or pub or pork or whatever you want to
Well,
call
I
it.
think there's a big demographic. Look, I'll give you an example. Yeah, I was watching LBC, and when Rishi Sunak got in power,
Raheem Sanook.
Rashad Sunak, Rashad Sunak, let's call him. So that guy, he didn't get elected as he just by default.
Yeah,
got
by
the
default.
position,
Yeah.
So somebody called in saying he doesn't represent us. And then the interview was like, why doesn't he represent you? He's got the conservative values, the upbringing and the mentality. No, he doesn't represent us. He's not one of us. Why isn't he not one of us? He's not white. He eventually battered him down to say he's not white. It's as simple as that. And if he was elected, I would have never voted for him.
And I bet you any money, the person who rang in to make those comments was probably an educated working man.
Really well-spoken. Really
So
well-spoken.
it's not always what we kind of class, because this is another stereotypical view that people who are yobs, mobs, they're the racist type. They're not. You might see them being a bit loud about it or flared up about it, but there is learned people out there who also agree with them. Even they don't kind of assimilate with each other. Do you think that certain sections of Burnley's community assimilates with other sections of? No, they don't, and they're all white. I'll give you an example. Yeah, this is back in 2003, maybe 2004. Yeah. We were working on a project, and it was a community cohesion project. This was after the disturbances that took place in Burnley, yeah? So it was a community cohesion project. We went back to the council after our first quarter, and we delivered our report, and we said we achieved community cohesion here. Council came back and they said, no, that's not community cohesion. You guys didn't achieve what you said you're going to achieve. I said, how did we not? We got two communities to start working together to create something together and present it and produce it, all of that kind of stuff. They said, yeah, but both of those communities are white. So we turned around and said, so what the hell does that matter? Wow. If one side of Padium is not communicating or has something against another side of Padium, but by chance both of those communities are white, still community cohesion, but it's not the political correct term of what they understand community cohesion. Community cohesion is bringing your community, which is South Asian, Muslim, Bangladeshi, they want
it to be tangible. Look, it's very direct. That community is that colour.
So if we were to go around again, Yoga, let's ask those questions again.
Go on.
Integrate, assimilate, whole cultural values, religious values. You know, this whole identity that we're talking about Britishness, what does that Britishness actually mean? What is... Somebody really needs to sit down and describe and put into a text form of what is Britishness and do I live up to it? Because everybody now beats around the bush and says, what's British? Well, it's a lot of different things.
Well, you did mention in the beginning you went on that government-led initiative or whatever it was to kind of understand what it is. So I think you mentioned 4 things, wasn't it?
I think democracy. Hold on one second. I'm just gonna.
I've got it here. I think I did have it here.
I think one thing for certain, we can't assimilate. There's no way that we're going to blend in.
So the 4 fundamental values: democracy, the rule of law, individual liberty, and mutual respect and tolerance. So these are the ones, and then obviously these are for schools. How they should be taught in the schools. So for more specific.
And what's that? The definition of Britishness?
Yeah, well, fundamental values. Fundamental values. Yeah. All schools in UK are required by law to actively promote fundamental British values.
Okay, go on. What are they?
Prepare students for life in modern Britain.
Yeah.
These values are defined by government as democracy, the rule of law.
Hold on, say one by one again.
Democracy.
Yeah.
Rule of law.
Yeah.
Individual liberty.
Yeah.
And mutual respect and tolerance of those with different faiths and beliefs.
Okay, so is that us then?
I'll tell you. Okay, you know what? I'm going to be straight up. Raw. For me, no, not democracy. Rule of law, yes. Depends. Individual liberty, I don't really understand that, so I'm going to have to understand it a bit better.
I'm allowed to be who I want to be, when I want to be, how I want to be, and you got to accept it.
Can be, and you're going to accept.
Well, you can. Okay, so in a balanced way, I would say yes and no to that. So you can be whoever you want to be, do what you want to do at home, but in society and in social setting, then no, you can't just do what you want.
Okay, so we're going to bring
and
these...
And then the last one, mutual respect and tolerance. Yeah, I'm with that as well.
Okay, so you know this liberty, that's a really important one, actually.
Yeah.
Because if there's anything that young people are being taught more and more is this idea of liberty, right?
All right, hold on, Salik. Before you go to that, though, I want you to say, out of those 4, which ones are you...
Democracy. When it comes to democracy, I think the law of the land, whatever they set in this country, legislation, I got to accept it.
Yeah.
Okay, the rule of law, which is kind of the same thing.
Yeah, same thing,
individual liberty.
So,
actually, keep that last because
go back to democracy,
mutual respect and tolerance.
Mutual, 100% mutual. Remember, for me, it's not respect and tolerance is not the important bit here. It's the mutual bit.
It's a two-way street.
It's a two-way street. I got to respect you, you got to respect me. I'll give you an example, and I'm okay with saying this as well. Yeah? Gay people.
Mm-hmm.
I know that culturally, in my culture, it's something that's not, kind of okay.
Look down upon.
Religiously as well. Here's the way that I describe it. You don't have to agree with me the way that I describe it. I don't agree with your way of life, but I accept it because that's what you choose for yourself.
Yeah, 100%.
I think that's where I'm giving you your liberty as well. So what I'm saying to you is, I don't agree with it. 100% I don't agree with it, but I accept the fact that it's your choice.
Yeah.
Because you know the reason why I'm saying that? Let's say, for example, a member of your family came like that. I can't do a thingy. What's the name of? No, what's that guy's name, man? I forgot which country he was the prime minister of. I think it was called Yahya something. Some African country, yeah? And because they really look down upon that kind of stuff.
Why are you gay?
Yeah, no, not yeah. But a journalist asked him, what if somebody in your family came like that? And he turned around and says, I would like to see them try.
Yeah, I know which one you're about.
Yeah? But look, here, when you go and teach these kind of things, you also have to be politically correct. You have to word your thing. Like, for example, yeah, you might, for example, I know this might sound petty. You might, like me, I love the color pink, salmon pink.
Yeah.
Yeah. You might not agree that that's a nice color for a man, but you got to accept the fact that I'm going to wear the shirt.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I mean? This is exactly the same kind of standard I'm using for somebody who's turning around and saying,
level.
I'm gay. And I can in a very respectful way, just like how he might turn around and say to me, Abdul, I don't agree with slaughter. But I accept the fact that this is part and parcel of your belief, and you accept it fully.
All right, so Naz, you now, yeah, democracy. What's your kind of stance on this?
Yeah, I agree with democracy. I think democracy is the way forward.
So I'm guessing if you're with democracy, obviously rule of law as well, yeah.
Yeah, you have to a certain extent.
Okay, and individual liberty. What you on with that?
Individual liberty again. I think everybody. If we get rid of individual liberty, who's to say that we can't practice Islam anymore? You know what I mean? So we need to have that in order to enjoy the fruits of what we're enjoying now.
And mutual respect and tolerance, obviously.
Mutual respect, yeah, that goes hand in hand. Again, mutual respect and tolerance. You might not agree with things, but obviously some things are wrong, which nobody agrees with. There's a general consensus.
Okay, I'm going from those both. I'm asking both of you guys here from now, yeah. Out of those four, would you think? How can I word this? So, do you think that there's an order to this as well, like an order,
a hierarchy?
Hierarchy. Yeah. Would you say that? And if there is, then what's that order?
I think
so. There's democracy, rule of law, individual liberty, and mutual respect.
I think mutual respect and tolerance is key for me, because I always go by treat your neighbor the way you want to be treated.
So let me just tell you, because somebody who teaches it, it's actually one feeds into another, to another, to another, to another.
It's all interchangeable.
But absolutely, Yogi, you're right as well. Out of all of those, if you were to say which one really means something, you can say mutual respect and tolerance. Somebody can say individual liberty. Everyone's going to have a reason as to why whichever one is not important. Actually, that's not the correct word, Yogi. It's what's your favorite.
What's my favorite? I want to. This is why I'm glad you asked, because I want to say it. My favorite is the bottom one: mutual respect and tolerance. Because I think if you don't have that, then you don't have anything.
So then, to have, actually read the whole thing. It's
the explanation to it.
No. I know mutual respect and tolerance. So mutual respect and tolerance. Yeah, check this out. If you were to have mutual respect and tolerance towards somebody, then you have to give them the democratic right to be able to speak something that you may not
disagree with.
Agree with.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
But at the same time, as long as it's not inflammatory.
Okay, so here, just check this out. Now, when you're talking about this idea of respect, you can be as critical as you want, so long as you don't offend somebody by it. Meaning, I got to talk with you look, আমরা religion মধ্যে তো শিখানি হয় that you can still be firm with somebody, but you do it through beautiful language, yoga. For example, in the Quran, it also says as well that invite people to the way of your religion with what? With wisdom, right? And with beautiful preaching, and reason with them in the ways that are best and most gracious. For me, those are every single one of those things.
Yeah.
The Quran describes it in the most beautiful way, better than any British value. Invite people to the way of your religion with wisdom and with beautiful preaching, and reason with them in the ways that are best and most gracious. It doesn't mean that I can't disagree with you. Husband and wife disagree all the time, brother and sister disagree all the time, but do it in the most beautiful way possible.
Yeah.
But like, I have the right to agree to disagree with you. That I might feel really passionate about something and you might not give it even an atom's weight. And I might get offended that why aren't you seeing it as important as the way? Because I'm allowing you to not be as worked up as me, because you have a right not to be worked up about things that I'm worked up about.
100%.
But I respect the fact that I'm worked up about it. You respect the fact that, but you know what, Sal, I understand.
Yeah.
I get it. You're passionate about it. But you know what, bro? For me,
It's
you
not
know,
for me, yeah.
keep me out. This is what I'm understanding by British values. So now, check this out. If we're having disagreements about religious values, about the way religion is being practiced in this country, look, I use this as an example all the time. Friday, you went to pray Jummah, right? And you got to the masjid and you realize that the masjid is full, like packed, jam-packed. The intention that you went with, Allah's already rewarded you, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Yoga, am I right?
Say that again. Sorry, I was just.
You went to Jummah, right?
Yeah.
And you went and found that the masjid is packed, like fully packed.
Yeah.
The intention that you went with, because this is what my religion teaches me, the intention that I went with, maybe Allah's already given me the deeds. Because my intention was so pure that I want to go and pray Jummah. But because there was no space in the masjid and I didn't want to disrupt the traffic on the street or on the road or block someone's path, I decided, you know what, I'm going to go home and pray. You did an even better deed.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
What's wrong with that in our culture, in our religion, in my society that I'm living in? Maybe actually that's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
আমিও নে রাস্তার মধ্যে আমার খুদ ফালাই আমি নমাজ পড়িলাম মানুষ দেখলো বলে দেখাই নে মুসলিম জায়গা পাইছে না রাস্তাত ফরিয়ে ফেলাইছে দিস ইজ নট আ গুড ডিড বিকজ ইভেন নাও মুসলিম সে yo guys why are we blocking the traffic like you were saying
exactly my point before Salik.
There was an
thinking about it a
emergency
lot.
vehicle that couldn't get through. Why? Because তুমি দেন নমাজ পড়াও নে emergency vehicle রে through দিবা লাগি তুমি দেন তোমার নমাজও বাংলাই না.
Honestly, I've been thinking about this lately. Our mannerisms and when it comes to driving, when it comes to cars, it's like we leave everything behind in a suitcase as soon as we get into the car.
Yep.
There's no respect, road rage, the way we drive, there's no patience, there's no sabr.
Yeah.
But yet these are the qualities that we kind
Look,
of
check
told
this out.
kind of.
You know when we were younger, আমরা যে সময় ভাত খাইয়ে শেষ করতাম, when we used to finish, if there was some little bit of rice left at the bottom of the handy, our mom or our dad used to walk into the back street. We used to have like a board, a piece of wood on top of our wall. আর ও rice আমরা তোরাতাম ওটার উপরে বলে ফাকিনতে খাইয়ে বলে. It was a good thing, innit?
Yeah, beautiful.
We're thinking, look, আমরা ফাকিরই আমরা খাওয়াইলাম.
But then again, gone.
Later on, we learned this is what draws rats in.
Yeah.
This is what draws vermins in. So we got educated along the way that even though we felt as though this was a right thing to do for the birds,
Good. Yeah.
actually it's a wrong thing for the community because we're drawing more rats. So what do? We stopped doing it. Now, do you know what we do? We just throw shit on the street.
It doesn't matter what it is. Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah.
What do? Oh, I don't need this bed anymore.
Lob it.
Lob it over your wall. Someone from the council is going to come and pick it up.
Yeah.
And then, look, perpetuating, then the council is going to have a service that costs money for people to come and pick it up. Then our services get strained. Certain departments got to get caught. And then who's complaining? Us again?
Yeah. I like him. There's a. I was saying this on the last episode. There's a guy, a white guy, old guy. Every Sunday, him and his grandson, they litter pick around our area, and it's always the same litter in the same places. Takeaway boxes, chicken and chips. This white guy, elderly white guy, what perception does he have of Asian people?
I'll tell you what he is. I think he's a very forgiving person. That every week I'm going to come back to the same spot and there's going to be rubbish there. But I'm going to do my 2 pennies worth to help the world, to help the environment, to help this
his
town.
Environment. It's
his environment, yeah. I think we really do need to get people to start taking more pride in where they live.
100%.
They really do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They really do.
and the thing
That's
that-
part and parcel of our religion as well as our
100%,
culture.
Yeah.
The thing that's shocking as well is I'm not in the most deprived area. Do you know, it is.
No, you're very affluent.
No,
Yeah.
not very affluent, but
Very
decent enough,
It
alhamdulillah.
is affluent, man.
But having said that, we still got residents that do not respect the area. You would think that moving out, you're deliberately moving out into these areas.
Here's another argument that I've got. You might not agree with this. If you bought a house with a garden, It's your responsibility to make sure that the people that drive past and walk past it see a nice garden.
Well, if they can see it, that is. If it's
Hold on. If you turn around and say that I've got a patch of grass in the front of my house and I'll cut it when I want to cut it, you don't deserve to be in that place, mate.
No.
Because that patch of grass has been put there for aesthetic reasons as well, for everybody else, not just you.
Yeah. So just prop brave it.
Do you know what I mean? Look, I've been watching these videos and some of them are funny. Yeah, you know, I'm telling you, you're gonna find these funny as well if you ever come across them on Facebook. People, you know, the tagline or the caption is "This is today's Britain," and it's some like Bulgarian and Romanian brothers having a barbecue
outside,
like right in front. Like you can tell they've literally exported or imported to say what they were doing over there. And I'm sure they weren't even doing that over there.
Yeah,
bro.
possibly not. Yeah.
And the way they're doing it, and look, I know Britain, I'm beginning to believe more and more that we really did let loose on immigration.
Yeah, free reign.
Yeah. There's wonderful bits of immigration that worked so wonderfully well and good and all of that kind of stuff. But some of it is like ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, some of it's just immigration for the sake of immigration, not adding any value.
Just opening the doors.
It's not even adding value. It's doing the opposite. It's actually...
There was a
causing detriment.
statistic.
But why do you think that the government is doing this?
It was
Why?
when they were part of Europe, Yoga. It was this whole our neighbor,
No,
your
but
neighbor, we need this, you need that.
Brexit, it got even worse.
People just, do you know what? More than the government may have thought of a good thing. People will come, they'll work, pay into the economy. But people, honestly, majority people saw it as like, yo, this is our way to go and skank and rip off and all that. There was this mad statistic, I can't even remember it for the world of me right now, about how much money students, it was students, foreign students came into this country and
It was in the billions. Is that what you're talking about? How much it cost?
Yeah.
How much they kind of contributed in that sense?
Yeah.
Billions.
How much
Not
it
just the
cost?
students.
Cost versus contribution.
No, meaning like because you have to pay this fee and that fee,
Okay,
isn't it?
yeah.
You know,
How much
all
that
of these
brings
fees.
in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
try
okay.
search. Are you searching it?
Yeah, I'm searching it.
And you know those people that
and not
did
just
come in,
don't check students as well as like spouse and all of this care visas, all of that. Just check how much they made.
if they did remove ILO, what would happen?
Indefinite.
Would all
don't
those
know.
people pack up their bags and go?
You'll have more of an issue, I think. I don't know.
International students contribute to an estimated 42 billion
There you go, billions, yeah.
to the UK.
And is that just students?
That's just international students.
There you go.
That's
So imagine if you include like care and all of that. So if anything, I think, look, British Buddhi, it always comes back down to money.
Yeah, 100.
It always comes back down to money.
Cash
So
moves
that
everything
I've
around.
said it before. I'll say it again. I'll say in front of him.
Cream.
Yeah, পয়সা মারিয়া খাইছো আমরা কাছ থেকে আগে ওখানে মারতাই আর বট আমরা মানুষ তো দৌড়িয়া ফরিয়া খাই দেওয়া
Okay, check this out, yeah? You know when the British were over in the Indian subcontinent, they were there for that long. When they left, we actually were more losers than anything because we literally had nothing left in it. They kind of took over what was there while they were there, and then they exported it out over there and brought it to their lands, and then they kind of lived off it. We were left with nothing. If the British now, or the white British, take control again, we'll be the losers again. They will always win.
Yeah, the house always wins, isn't it? That's the phrase. And that
So, you know, this monopoly that they had over the world as colonies and all of that, they will still win again.
But I will say this, I'm going to add this as well. I think I don't mean internally in the UK, I think globally, they've lost a lot of kind of, how can I say, respect maybe, or
reputation.
that kind of reputation, and other countries realize, listen, okay, you're not that nation you were once before. And I just want to add on top of that as well, just maybe to kind of move it on a little. In America, obviously, the Tucker Carlson and the Nick Fuentes and all of these, I don't know if you know these names, yeah?
Yeah.
But there's kind of a growth now coming out of these lot. They're saying, look, they're kind of opening their eyes, what we would say opening their eyes into the Zionist movement and the persuasiveness and the influence.
And
what do you think of that?
You're 100% right, Yoga. But you know, us Muslims, we focus so much on that. If we were to really go and focus on emerging economies around the world, majority of those countries are not even Muslim. If you go to the Brazils and all of those players, they are the Japanese and the China. They are. You know what I believe when people talk about depressions and recessions and stuff like that, it's not actually that there's a repression I believe this is slowing down other people's growth. America always wants to have that hegemony in it over everybody else.
Everyone else.
They want to be that strong, most powerful, and they know that people are catching up to them. They know that other economies are emerging and they're going to do this and they're going to do that, and we're losing and our workforce is not skilled, and all of this kind of stuff. Yeah. So what they do is they deliberately, people are going to call me a conspiracy theorist now, they deliberately design these kind of things not because somebody's going to take over, is they want to slow them down while we catch our speed up as well.
Yeah, nip them in the bud.
Do you know what I mean? So
but what do you think of that stuff, what I ended with?
all of this. Look, Yoga, even in this country, look, only a couple of days ago, they banned who? Palestine Action. Who were they dragging off the streets? Was it Muslims?
No, it was wow.
Oh, see, we need to really open our eyes to this as well. Why is the Muslim community not giving? Whose fight is Palestine? It's a Muslim fight, right?
Yeah, I would say
it is a world fight as well against innocent young people and children, but it's fundamentally...
First and foremost, it's ours.
Okay, so now, when they ban Palestine Action as a prescribed terrorist organization, what kind of terrorism did they commit, bro?
Verbal.
What these are old white pensioners. Yeah. White people, just everyday experienced people, working class people, highly skilled professional people. Didn't some of them get sent to prison just earlier this week?
Some heavy sentences.
For
what crime that they did?
What did they do?
Yeah.
You prescribe
some of them
them
got
as
3-something years or something like that.
Now, when we talk about this Labour vote, Labour will get decimated in the next election. There is no doubt about it. For these particular actions, who is it that Labour is trying to please by prescribing them as a terrorist organization? Because in the first trial, they were all acquitted, right? They were then asked to come to a retrial because the government wasn't happy with the outcome of the first trial. So now this judge has definitely convicted them and sent them down. This is going to go down in history, bro. This act that happened, this thing that they did will go down in history. Now, I've never said this before. Now I want Asian, Muslim or coloured Labour supporters, MPs, councillors to come forward and explain to me the actions of their leader when it comes to prescribing. Look, we might even get into trouble for broadcasting this, for saying what we're saying. But I'm just telling you about my feeling.
Yeah, that's your opinion. Yeah,
it's my opinion. I'm telling you about my feeling. When all of us went on march, no, I didn't actually. I'm telling you.
I don't do marches.
Yeah. This 2 years, I didn't go to one Palestinian march. I support Palestine, the innocent people and all of that, yeah? But I did not go to one. I have a right not to go as well because I didn't agree with the angle that this was taken. Then the Muslim argument came into it. Then the South Asian argument, all of that came into it. You tell me which Muslim country supported the Palestinian struggle. This particular one. Let's not go back in 50 years worth of history. Let's go to this one. What did we later on find out? It was every single Arab country was actually against the idea. So come on then, Muslims, let's talk. You lot are quick to go to, when I go on holiday, I'm going to go to Muslim country because it's halal food there. It's a Muslim country. Bro, I've seen more. Forget it. Look, I'm not even going to go there.
Vote about who recognises Palestine as a... It was quite interesting. I can't remember the exact results, but
a lot of them are European nations.
Yeah.
A lot of the Spanish Prime Minister, he's
France
really...
Even France.
France,
South
I don't
Africa.
know.
Even France, man.
They are, but they're not as well. But I just want to shout out the Spanish lot. They're really smashing it out there. But anyway, we're on 1 hour 12 minutes.
But what I'm going to also say as well, let's bring it back to our original.
Yeah.
Why is it that the people in this country have got to the point now where they're saying enough is enough? And if they're saying that, can we not also say that as well? Because I'm sure we got disgruntled people within our communities, within our society saying, I'm sick and tired of these people coming over, the Afghans, the Iraqis, the Iranians, the Bangladeshis, the Pakistanis, the Somali, all of this coming over, to the point where even, look, people who are born and brought up in this country, even I hear it on the streets as well, even they're sick of our Bengalis still coming over and behaving like this and wanting this benefit. And
yesterday I was seeing it on TikTok. I think my wife sent to me, or it appeared. Anyway, something happened in East London. I don't know if you know East London Mosque, the political, I don't know, there's some sort of a political committee in the masjid and they're kicking off like big time. Have you seen it?
No, I've not
I'll
seen
send
it.
it. Yeah, anyway, we'll watch it. But yeah, it's just crazy.
To the
And
point
then
where-
somebody got elected and he can't even speak English.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what the-
There's a lot of people coming out there and now actually calling our own community out,
Well-
saying, "Why are you standing up for being a councillor when you can't even speak English?"
It's true, though.
This happened in our local area this last local election.
Yeah, it's true though.
How many
like,
candidates stood up? Yeah. I'm saying Burnley as a whole now, not in our particular area, but Burnley as a whole. How many people stood up to become a local councillor? Can't even speak English one word. They couldn't stand up in the local council chambers to actually say that, look, there's a problem with my child's school, or littering is a problem, or housing needs to be sorted, or there's a water leak, or roads need mending and potholes need fixing. These people don't have the language, terminology, understanding, nothing like that. They're just as bad as that Kirklees Reform Council that's being led by Reform, where Reform stood up and said, "I'm sorry, love, I don't know what emotion means. I don't know how you retract something. I don't know nothing." But they run the bloody council.
Yeah. The thing
So
is,
if English people can come forward and say that group of people are incompetent to run that particular council and they need removing ASAP, why can't we say that about our own councillors and our own people?
Because at the end of the day, wrong is wrong. Like we can't justify something that's categorically wrong. And I think we need more of that. We need accountability. We need to set things straight, and we need voices. Like people just live their life, pretend that never happens, and just brush it aside.
For
It
me,
can't
I
carry
think
on.
I'm
It's
going to
just
end
a
on this
snowball.
anyway. It goes back to one main thing that you always actually speak about, Salik, and it's the word character, man. It goes back to that. And I think our religion teaches it us, our culture teaches it us. And if we get that right, or I try to get that right, I think a lot of things would be better. How we demonstrate who we are as well as people. I think that'll help. But anyway.
So I think people
Don't
at home,
block it off
guys,
now.
is going to be really important that we sit down and have these honest, frank discussions within our friend circle, within our family circle. Especially talk to your young people. Talk to the young people in your house. How do they feel about what's going on? Changes might be coming, they may not be coming. There's a lot of sensationalized news within the media. And then locally, people are saying, "Oh, we heard there's going to be a protest march and they're going to come through this area and that area." First and foremost, it's important that we all stay safe. It's important that we look after each other, whether you're white, black, pink, purple, whatever. If you see that somebody is distressed, they're in danger, if you see that they're unsettled, it's our role, first and foremost, as human beings to calm the nervous system down. We have to put interventions in place. And look, have honest, frank discussions within your friend circle and your family circle and your friend, whatever it is, about what's happening within society, because I think what's going to be happening over the next couple of years here in Britain is really, really going to change the face of Britain again. So we already saw it once back in the early 2000s with all the disturbances taking place and when people put emphasis on it. But at that time, maybe somebody else was on the receiving end. This time we might be on the receiving. There's going to be so many different things that happen as well. So be mindful, be careful, read up, guys, and watch other people, how their communities operate. Also, listen to somebody else's argument. There's nothing wrong with it. You don't always have to react. You can just listen for the sake of listening, go away, have a think about it, and then draw your opinions from that. Prince, have you got anything to say?
No, just represent us the way we need to be represented. At the end of the day,
Who's us?
us as a general demographic. I mean that very loosely, but your actions have a consequence, and we need to start taking accountability. That's
We do.
to reinforce.
We really do. But guys, I know this was a bit of a more quieter episode, but it's important because we're all having the conversation. If anybody would like to come forward and have these conversations more, we can do live as well, where you can be texting us your questions, your remarks, your opinions, and then we can respond back. Or feel even free to kind of drop us a message and say, look, next week I'd like to come on and talk about young people's views about what's been going on and how we feel. Absolutely, this platform has been created for those particular reasons as well. So if anybody feels like they want to say something, that's brilliant. Also, remember, guys, you have to share the page, you have to like the page, you have to share it again, comment on it, share our episodes. If there's anything that you'd like to say, anything that you'd like to see, feel free to do all of that. I'm sure we're going to be back next week with a different episode. And I think Yogi said one thing that was quite important, because I said, why has it got to the point where these people or people in society, English people or white people, whatever you want to call, why are a lot of them now saying enough is enough? And he said, maybe we need to ask one of them the question if they
let's
feel
ask
that
them,
way.
please.
If they don't feel that way, we can still ask them the question. We can hot seat them. Do you know, when we were younger, a lot of the time people used to come to us and say, you as the Asian community, tell us what you think. Tell us how you feel. What is your culture? What is your... Now we're asking them people or those people, come on, tell us about you. Teach us. What is it that you think British culture is? What is it that you would like to see? Would you like to see more of those parades and marches where you show your Britishness and your Englishness and, you know, celebrating saints and people that won the Victoria Cross and, you know, churches allowing more people to go in, not to be Christians, is just a place for the community.
Yeah.
So they also have to take some accountability as well. Just like how you're saying that we need to take accountability for some of our actions and behaviors and mindsets and wants and desires, then also maybe the English people who are saying this, maybe they also take some accountability and responsibility as well.
Well, we're
So,
open to that debate.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So inshallah, guys, thank you so much for watching, tuning in. We will see you again very soon. But for now, Assalamu alaikum. Take it easy.
Assalamu alaikum. See you next time.